So we have finally gotten around to seeing Paddington 2, and my god are we glad that we did, because this thing just... wow.
Come on, Wolfie. Ow.
Please understand, guys, I'm very sick at the moment and struggling through these videos. So, Paddington 2 is the sequel to Paddington. The first film scored rave reviews and commercially did quite well, and now this film is doing quite well and has been critically received through the roof. People are loving it and going on and on and on and on and on about it. It has an absolute all-star cast here as well. I mean, where do we start? Not too sure. It probably also has the largest amount of cameos of any film ever.
There's so many people.
An ensemble of British actors that you just... There's so many people. So many.
I want to point out at this point as well that we hadn't seen the first Paddington movie. I'm going to go out of my way to go and see it now, because Paddington 2, despite how good the reviews were, I was still not prepared for how good this movie is. When I have kids at some point in my life, if that happens, this will be the first movie I get them to watch. This is like the ultimate family movie. I would say it's the new gold standard for family films. For me, at least, anyway. This is everything that I think a feel-good, crowd-pleasing movie should have. It has all of those things. This is exactly what those movies should look like. But what is this movie about? We're going to keep it simple because it's better to just know that this movie is amazing and you need to see it no matter what. But if you need a bit of the story, basically Paddington has assimilated to human culture by now. He's just a bear in a human world. It's completely normal. And in this movie, he basically sets about trying to get a job to be able to pay for this pop-up book of London, which he wants to send to his aunt living back in South America for her 100th birthday, but the book gets stolen. And I think that's a very small snippet to exactly what this film goes through, because this movie goes from here to... It goes all over the place. It is so creative, it is so inventive, and it's actually a very, very kind of unique story I found. I don't think I've seen a story quite like this before, especially in a family type film.
The one thing I loved most walking out of Paddington 2 was easily just the sheer creativity. Like, it's mind-boggling. From like scene to scene, the amount of stuff that they actually do. I mean, there's like a pop-up animated sort of sequence which is so freaking wonderful. Like, I was just about crying watching it because it's just like full of such sheer joy. I don't know why, but through this entire film, I was just filled with such joy, and I was trying to figure out why, and I still can't put my finger on it. But honestly, like, it just made me care for everything so much.
I think I can try to narrow it down a bit, because I think a lot of what this film does comes from the script. And it really understands that the way to build satisfaction from characters and their growth is to make that growth really apparent by showing a starting point to an idea, and then later on in the film, bringing that point back up again and having some resolution to it. I have never seen a script use reincorporation as well as this film does. Not a single idea that is brought up, quite often for a joke, is then forgotten. That idea will be used later on in a different context to grow a character in some way. That kind of thing is so incredibly difficult to do, but here it feels completely effortless because the writing and directing is so incredibly good. I'd go as far as saying it is early in 2018, and this may be some of the best writing and directing we see all year. Honestly, the level of it is completely unparalleled. As I've said, the creativity and inventiveness, but just the focus, the precision. It is such an accurate movie. There's not a wasted shot. There's not a wasted moment. Everything here is completely worthwhile, and it's used to earn moments later on. So the film kind of has this exponentially compounding thing where it just feels more and more worthwhile, more and more joyous, more and more important as it goes on. And to achieve that, especially in a film like this, is honestly mind-boggling.
This film is also aided by this beautiful thing that is Britain. When British humour succeeds, it's quite simply the best on earth, and here, like, it is just so freaking wonderful. I don't know what it is, but when the Brits get it right, they goddamn get it right. They have this wonderful sense of themselves. They just kind of understand their own culture, but they also understand how comedy works. But not only comedy by itself, but when it's mixed with drama. And so here we just have this beautiful combination that is constantly working the whole time, and I just... It's
sharp and it's detailed, and there's the right amount of level of self-depreciation and almost, I guess, there is like a kind of nasty bite to it sometimes, but that's so beautifully counteracted by the whole thing with Paddington. What is it with his line? If you're kind and polite, the world will be right. Is that it? That's his thing?
I think so.
The film works off that kind of that moral compass, that kind of central idea. And that's why I think this film, not only is it just, as we've said, it is just completely technically excellent and just an incredibly well-told story, a great example of great storytelling, but it's also just a really, really valuable film in terms of its lessons. This film really has a focus on finding the good in anyone, no matter who they are. People will always have redeeming qualities. Everyone in the world goes through struggles, and there's always a way to come out on the other side of them a better person. There's ways to learn, to grow, and to see this in a film like this is honestly so stunning. I don't think I've seen a movie quite as compelling as this one in a long time. All the actors here do phenomenal work. This really is a movie that I could just watch on repeat. I could genuinely watch this movie for every day of the rest of my life and not get bored with it. I'd always find something new to value. The detail here is incredible. There is always something new to see, new to enjoy. I really cannot put into words quite how good this movie is.
So Paddington 2 is a film you just can't miss. Honestly, it doesn't matter who you are or where you are or how old you are, you really cannot miss this film. If it's in theaters and you've kind of been delaying it and thinking, oh, I might not go see it, I might go see it, go see it. If you've already seen it, well done. And if it's coming to your theaters, make sure you see it, because you do not want to miss this film. It is just such a beautiful family film that will honestly last forever in your heart. Anyway, I'm giving this one a 9.5, and I just could not recommend it more.
For me, this movie really is, I'm so stunned by it. I think it's so rare to see a movie that I don't think anyone on the planet could possibly not get some enjoyment out of it. I mean, this really is such a remarkable film. I'm giving this one a 10 out of 10. I love it more than I can put into words, and I think it's brilliant beyond anything I can say. So those were our thoughts on Paddington 2. Have you seen it yet?
Did you like it?
Did you hate it?
Visualized video?
Of course you did.
Great more banter.
If so, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel down there somewhere.
And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, all at Breaking Banter.
And at Patreon as well, because we've got one of those and you can help us out right there.